Admiral Hyunwoo Park stood before the massive window of the hidden space station. Outside, the cold darkness of the Kuiper Belt stretched endlessly. No stars shined here. No planets moved in gentle orbits. This was the perfect place to hide, humanity's greatest secret. The station had no name on any official records. The workers who built it thought they were making a research facility for ice mining. They had no idea they were creating the birthplace of Earth's new military power. Even now, 50 years after the first discovery, only a few hundred people knew the truth about what humanity had learned to do. Hyunwoo touched the cold glass with his fingertips. Behind him, the soft hum of computers filled the air. Screens showed data that would make the galaxy's greatest minds go crazy with fear. Numbers and charts that proved humans had found something no other species had ever imagined. "Admiral, the test results are ready," said Dr. So-Young Kim as she walked into the observation room. Her white lab coat looked strange in the military setting, but she had earned her place here through pure genius. She was the woman who had first figured out how to touch the invisible parts of the universe. "Show me," Hyunwoo said without turning around. So-Young pressed buttons on her tablet. The window in front of them changed. What had been empty space now showed ghostly outlines of massive ships. Battleships longer than city blocks floated silently in the darkness. Their hulls seemed to shimmer and fade, like mirages in the desert. The Silent Thunder completed its phase test 30 minutes ago, So-Young reported. Captain Tae-Jin Lee says the ship can now stay invisible for up to 6 hours. The crew feels no side effects from existing in dark matter space. Hyunwoo finally turned to look at her. His weathered face showed years of carrying heavy secrets. "And the weapons?" "Working perfectly. We can fire dark matter torpedoes while staying invisible. The target never knows what hit them until it's too late." The two of them watched the ghost ships move through space like deadly shadows. Each battleship carried enough firepower to destroy entire fleets, but no enemy scanner could detect them. They existed in the spaces between normal matter, in the dark parts of reality that made up most of the universe. 50 years ago, human scientists had been studying dark matter like everyone else in the galaxy. They knew it was there, invisible and mysterious, making up most of everything that existed. Other alien species had tried to understand it for thousands of years. They all failed, but humans were different. They didn't just want to study dark matter. They wanted to use it. The breakthrough had come from a young physicist named Dr. Chen Wei. He had been working late one night, trying to solve equations that had puzzled scientists for decades. In his tired state, he made what seemed like a simple mistake in his math. But when he tested that mistake in his lab, reality bent in ways that should have been impossible. Chen had found a way to make normal matter slip into dark matter space. Just for a few seconds at first, then minutes, then hours. The government had classified his work immediately. Chen disappeared from public view, and the world thought he had died in a lab accident. Really, he had become the father of humanity's secret weapon program. Now, decades later, Earth had a fleet of dark matter battleships that could appear and disappear at will. They could fire weapons that ignored all known defenses. They could travel through space without being detected by any alien technology. "Admiral, we have incoming communication from Nari Choi," said a technician at a nearby. Consul Nari was their best intelligence officer. She spent her days listening to alien radio signals, learning about galactic politics while the galaxy forgot Earth existed. Her reports had been getting more interesting lately. "Put her through," Hyunwoo ordered. Nari's face appeared on the main screen. She looked tired but excited. "Admiral, I have important news. The Zephyrian Empire is moving a large battle fleet toward the outer rim of the galaxy. Their communications suggest they're planning something big." "How big?" So-Young asked. "Big. Enough to conquer a whole star system. Their messages mention the primitive world and easy resources. I think they're talking about Earth." Hyunwoo felt his stomach tighten, but he kept his face calm. They had always known this day would come. Earth had been too quiet for too long. Other species were starting to think humans were weak and easy to attack. "How long do we have?" he asked. "Their fleet is moving slowly. They're not in any hurry because they think we're helpless. I estimate 2 weeks before they reach our solar system." The admiral walked back to the window. Outside, more dark matter battleships were becoming visible as their crews practiced phase transitions. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, built with technology that no alien mind had ever conceived. Nari, keep monitoring their communications. I want to know everything about their battle plans. Yes, sir. There's one more thing. The Zephyrians are broadcasting their attack plans to other species. They're treating this like entertainment. They expect to destroy Earth in a few hours and claim our resources. So, Young laughed quietly. They have no idea what they're walking into. Hyunwoo activated his command communicator. All ship captains, this is Admiral Park. Report to the command center immediately. Operation Dark Dawn is now active. Within minutes, the station's command center filled with the best military minds humanity had ever produced. Captain Tae-jin Lee arrived first, still wearing his pilot suit from the test flight. Commander Dae-hyun Shin followed, along with a dozen other officers who commanded the invisible fleet. Ladies and gentlemen, Hyunwoo began, the galaxy is about to learn that Earth is not as helpless as they think. The Zephyrian Empire has decided to test our defenses. They're sending a conquest fleet to our home system. The room stayed quiet. Every person there had trained for this moment. They expect to find primitive human ships using chemical rockets and simple weapons. Instead, they're going to meet our dark matter battleships. This will be the first time any alien species encounters our true military power. Captain Tae-jin raised his hand. What are our rules of engagement, Admiral? We reveal ourselves only when necessary. Let them think they're winning at first. When they commit their full force, we decloak and show them what humans have built in the shadows. So Young looked at the tactical displays. The element of surprise will be complete. No alien species has ever faced dark matter weapons. Their shields and armor are designed for energy beams and physical projectiles. They won't know how to defend against attacks that exist in different dimensions. Commander Dae-hyun studied the fleet positions. Should we evacuate Earth's population? No, Hyunwoo said firmly. If we evacuate, they'll know we have advanced. Warning, we need them to think Earth is completely defenseless. Our people will be safe because this battle will be over before it really begins. The meeting continued for hours as they planned every detail of the ambush. The human fleet would hide in dark matter space around Earth's solar system. They would let the Zephyrian fleet enter and begin their attack. Then, at the perfect moment, humanity would show the galaxy that the age of human weakness was over. As the officers left to prepare their ships, Hyunwoo remained in the command center with So Young. They watched their invisible fleet move into position through the quantum displays. Are you ready for everything to change? So Young asked. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. Humanity has been hiding in the shadows of the galaxy for too long. It's time to step into the light and show everyone what we've become. In 2 weeks, the Zephyrian Empire would arrive at Earth expecting an easy victory. Instead, they would become the first alien species to face humanity's dark matter battleships. And after that, the galaxy would never look at Earth the same way. Again, the age of human secrecy was ending. The age of human power was about to begin. Admiral Kethvar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crimson Devastator. Through the massive viewing screen, he could see his entire battle fleet spread out in formation. 200 warships, each one capable of destroying planets, moved through space toward the small blue world ahead. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered dozens of star systems over the past century. Kethvar had led most of those conquests personally. He knew exactly what victory looked like, and this mission would be the easiest one yet. Admiral, we are entering the target system, reported his navigation officer. Long-range scanners show no defensive formations. The planet appears completely undefended. Kethvar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Zephyrians were proud warriors who respected strength and despised weakness. Humans had shown nothing but weakness for generations. They had never expanded beyond their home system. They had never built great armies. They had never even tried to contact other species. Pathetic creatures, muttered Commander Veltar from the tactical station. Our intelligence reports say they still use primitive chemical rockets. How did such weak beings ever develop space? Travel? Luck, Kethvar replied. But luck runs out. Begin full spectrum scans of the system. I want to know about every human ship, every space station, every piece of metal they have floating out there. The scanner technician worked at his console for several minutes. The results appeared on the main display. Kethvar studied the information with growing amusement. 12 cargo vessels, 8 research stations, no military ships at all. He laughed loudly. This isn't even worth calling a battle. We could conquer this system with a single frigate. But Kethvar was a careful commander. He had not survived dozens of battles by underestimating his enemies. Even weak enemies sometimes had surprises. All ships maintain battle formation. Charge weapons to full power. Deploy scanner drones throughout the system. If the humans have any tricks, I want to know about them before we close in. The massive Zephyrian fleet moved deeper into the solar system. Their advanced technology allowed them to cross vast distances quickly. What would take human ships months to travel, they covered in hours. As they approached Earth, Kethvar felt confident about the coming victory. The planet looked beautiful but defenseless. Its blue oceans and white clouds reminded him of other worlds he had conquered. Soon, Zephyrian colonies would cover its surface. Admiral, our scanner drones have completed their sweep, the technician reported. We detect no hidden bases, no weapon platforms, no cloaked ships. The humans appear to have no military presence whatsoever. Excellent. All ships, prepare for orbital bombardment. We'll destroy their major cities first, then demand surrender. Standard conquest protocol. What Kethvar did not know was that 47 human battleships were watching his every move. The dark matter vessels floated invisible around Earth, their crews ready for battle. The Zephyrian scanners passed right through them, detecting nothing. On the bridge of the Phantom Strike, Captain Jin-Ho Yoon watched the alien fleet approach his home world. He had been born on Earth, but he had spent the last 20 years training for this moment. His ship was humanity's most advanced battleship, equipped with weapons that could tear holes in reality itself. Captain, all dark matter battleships are in position, reported Tactical Officer Yoon Ji-han. The enemy fleet is exactly where Admiral Park predicted they would be. Jin-Ho nodded calmly. The Zephyrians were following their standard battle doctrine perfectly. They always formed the same attack pattern when conquering primitive worlds. Human intelligence had studied their tactics for decades. Maintain phase state, Jin-Ho ordered. Let them get closer. We want them fully committed before we reveal ourselves. The Zephyrian fleet reached Earth's orbit and took attack positions. Kethvar felt the satisfaction of another easy victory approaching. The human planet lay helpless beneath his guns. All ships, target major population centers, he commanded. Fire on my mark. But before he could give the final order, something impossible happened. Space itself seemed to shimmer around the Zephyrian fleet. The stars flickered. Reality bent and twisted. Then, from nowhere, massive human battleships appeared in formation around the aliens. "What in the void is that?" screamed Commander Veltar. On his tactical display, Kethvar saw his fleet suddenly surrounded by unknown vessels. Ships that had not been there seconds before now floated beside, above, and below his formations. They were sleek and dark, unlike anything in Zephyrian databases. "Where did they come from?" he demanded. "How did they get past our scanners?" No one had an answer. The human ships had appeared from empty space like ghosts becoming solid. Jin-Ho opened communication channels to the entire Zephyrian fleet. His face appeared on every enemy screen, calm and confident. "I am Captain Jin-Ho Yoon of the Earth Defense Force," he said in perfect Zephyrian language. "You have entered our system with hostile intent. Surrender immediately or face the consequences." Kethvar stared at the human captain in shock. How did this primitive species know advanced Zephyrian dialects? How had they built such impressive warships without anyone noticing? "Impossible," he growled. "Humans are weak. Your technology is centuries behind ours." Jin-Ho smiled slightly. "Admiral Kethvar of the Crimson Devastator. We know exactly who you are. We have been monitoring your communications for weeks. We know your battle plans, your ship specifications, and your personal combat record." The Zephyrian admiral felt cold fear creep into his heart. How could humans know classified military information? All ships open fire, he shouted. Destroy these primitive vessels. The Zephyrian fleet unleashed its full firepower. Plasma cannons blazed. Energy beams cut through space. Explosive missiles streaked toward the human battleships. It was enough destructive power to level continents. Every shot passed harmlessly through the human ships. The plasma beams went right through the hulls as if the battleships were made of air. The missiles flew through empty space where solid metal should have been. Not a single human vessel took any damage. Impossible, Kethvar screamed. No shields can deflect that much firepower. Yoon-ji Han looked up from her tactical console. Captain, all enemy ships have fired. No damage to any of our vessels. Shall we demonstrate our capabilities? Jin-ho nodded. Fire one warning shot. Dark matter torpedo, minimal power. Target their flagship's shield generators. The Phantom Strike fired a single weapon. No visible beam shot from its hull. No projectile could be seen crossing space. But suddenly the Crimson Devastator shuddered as something struck its shields. The shield generators exploded in sequence. Emergency lights flashed across Kethvar's bridge. His defensive systems, which could stop planet-killing weapons, had been destroyed by an attack his sensors could not even detect. Shield generators are completely destroyed, reported the damage control officer. I don't understand how they were hit. Our scanners show no incoming weapons. Jin-ho's voice filled the bridge again. That was a demonstration. Our weapons exist. In dimensions your technology cannot detect. Your shields and armor are useless against us. Kethvar felt panic rising in his chest. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Zephyrian Empire, was helpless against these mysterious human weapons. How is this possible? He whispered. We learned to use the dark matter that makes up most of the universe, Jin-ho explained calmly. While your species focused on improving conventional technology, we mastered the invisible forces all around us. Commander Dae-hyun Shin's voice came over the fleet communication system from his battleship Dark Vengeance. All Zephyrian vessels, this is your final warning. Power down your weapons and prepare to be escorted out of our system. But Kethvar was too proud to surrender. He was a Zephyrian admiral. His species had never been defeated by primitive worlds. All ships, ramming speed, he ordered desperately. If we cannot shoot them, we will crush them with our hulls. The Zephyrian fleet charged forward, trying to physically ram the human battleships. But as they approached, the human vessels simply faded away like mirages. The Zephyrians found themselves flying through empty space, their targets vanishing the moment before impact. Then the human ships reappeared behind them. Enough games, Jin-ho said quietly to his crew. Full-power dark matter bombardment. Disable their engines and weapons, but keep their life support intact. We want prisoners, not corpses. The human fleet fired simultaneously. Invisible weapons struck every Zephyrian ship at once. Engine cores shut down. Weapon systems sparked and died. Life support continued functioning, but everything else failed completely. In less than 30 seconds, the entire Zephyrian conquest fleet was floating, helplessly in space. Kethvar sat in his command chair, staring at his dead control panels. His mighty warship, which had destroyed planets, was now as helpless as a child's toy. Attention all Zephyrian vessels, came Yoon-ji Han's voice. You are now prisoners of the Earth Defense Force. Remain calm and await further instructions. The Admiral activated his emergency communication system, sending a message towards Zephyrian space. His hands shook as he spoke. This is Admiral Kethvar to High Command. The conquest of Earth has failed. The humans have weapons beyond our understanding. They use the dark universe itself as a tool of war. Send word to the Galactic Council. Everything we thought we knew about this species is wrong. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called within hours of receiving Admiral Kethvar's desperate message. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the massive chamber that orbited the galactic core. Never before had such urgent fear filled the ancient halls. Sovereign Thelnara of the crystalline hegemony stood at the center podium, her translucent body glowing with anxiety. Her species had ruled parts of the galaxy for over 10,000 years. They had Seen empires rise and fall, but nothing had ever shaken them like this news from Earth. Fellow beings, she began, her voice carrying across the chamber through quantum translators. We face an unprecedented situation. A species we considered primitive has demonstrated military technology beyond our understanding. The hall erupted in worried conversations. Representatives whispered in dozens of languages, their voices creating a chaos of fear and disbelief. Archon Vexthul of the Galactic Military Council rose from his seat. His massive form towered over most other species, and his deep voice commanded instant attention. I have reviewed the complete battle recordings from the Zephyrian fleet. What we witnessed defies everything we know about physics and warfare. The central holographic display activated, showing images from the battle near Earth. The assembled representatives watched in stunned silence as human battleships appeared from nowhere, ignored the most powerful weapons in the galaxy, and disabled an entire conquest fleet in minutes. How is this possible? Demanded Ambassador Quillenth from the Avian Confederacy. Our scientists have studied dark matter for millennia without success. How could humans master it so quickly? Perhaps they are not as primitive as we believed, suggested Elder Mordun, of the Ancient Collective. His species had existed longer than any other in the galaxy, and his words carried great weight. Sovereign Thelnara activated her personal communicator. I have been in contact with our best physicists across 12 star systems. They all reached the same conclusion. The humans have found a way to manipulate dark matter at a level we thought impossible. Archon Vexthul displayed tactical information on the holographic projectors. Our analysis shows that human weapons completely bypass conventional shields and armor. They strike directly at the molecular level, affecting matter itself rather than just its surface. The implications terrified everyone present. Every military force in the galaxy used similar defensive technology. If human weapons could ignore all known defenses, then no species was safe from Earth's power. We must demand an immediate explanation, declared General Zachmore of the Reptilian Alliance. This human species must be brought before the Council to answer for their hidden military development. And if they refuse? Asked Ambassador Quillenth. The question hung in the air like a dark cloud. For the first time in galactic history, a primitive species held military superiority over the advanced civilizations. They will not refuse, said a new voice from the entrance to the chamber. Every head turned to see a human walking calmly down the central aisle. He was tall and confident, wearing simple but elegant clothing. Behind him walked a woman in military uniform, her hand resting casually on what appeared to be a weapon of unknown design. Conversation stopped completely. This was the first time any human had ever set foot in the Galactic Council chambers. I am Myung-Soo Jung, ambassador from Earth, the man said as he approached the central podium. And this is Captain Ye Jin-Oh of our diplomatic escort. Sovereign Thelnara stared at the humans in shock. How did you get here? No human ship has ever been detected entering this system. Myung-Soo smiled politely. We have been here for 3 days, Ambassador. Our ship Dark Horizon has been observing your emergency sessions while remaining invisible in dark matter space. The revelation sent waves of panic through the chamber. If humans could reach the galactic core undetected, then nowhere in the galaxy was truly secure from their reach. You have been spying on us? Demanded Archon Vexthul, his voice filled with outrage. We prefer the term monitoring, Captain Yejin replied calmly. Just as your species have been monitoring Earth for decades. The difference is that we actually succeeded in staying hidden. Myung-Soo stepped up to the speaker's position, completely at ease despite being surrounded by potentially hostile aliens. Honored representatives, Earth has requested this audience to clear up several misunderstandings about recent events. Elder Morden leaned forward with interest. What misunderstandings? First, you seem surprised by our military capabilities. This suggests you have not been paying proper attention to human development over the past 50 years. The ambassador activated a holographic display showing star charts and data streams. For 5 decades, Earth has been conducting scientific research, building industrial capacity, and developing new technologies. Your intelligence services dismissed all of This as primitive dabbling. Sovereign Thelnara felt uncomfortable as she realized the truth in his words. Galactic intelligence agencies had indeed classified humanity as technologically stagnant. Second, Myung-Soo continued, you assume we developed dark matter technology recently. In fact, we achieved our first successful experiments before most of your species had even noticed Earth existed. General Zachmore stood up aggressively. Impossible. Our physics experts say dark matter manipulation should take thousands of years to develop. Captain Yejin spoke up from her position. Your physics experts have been approaching the problem incorrectly for millennia. Humans think differently than other species. We found solutions you never considered. What kind of solutions? Asked Ambassador Quillenth with genuine curiosity. Myung-Soo gestured to the holographic display, which now showed complex mathematical equations. Rather than trying to control dark matter through brute force, we learned to work with it. We discovered that dark matter responds to quantum consciousness fields generated by organic brains. The scientific implications stunned the assembled representatives. If humans were right, then every species in the galaxy had been pursuing dark matter research using completely wrong methods. You claim to have been watching us for years, said Elder Morden. What exactly have you observed? The human ambassador's expression grew more serious. We have observed your wars, your political games, and your treatment of species you consider inferior. We decided to remain hidden until we could protect ourselves from your military ambitions. Archon Vexthal stood up angrily. Are you accusing the Galactic Council of hostile intentions? I am stating facts, Myung-Soo replied without emotion. The Zephyrian Empire attacked Earth unprovoked, intending conquest and colonization. They broadcast their plans to multiple species as entertainment. This suggests that galactic civilization views human beings as acceptable targets for aggression. The chamber fell silent. Several representatives looked uncomfortable as they remembered celebrating the planned conquest of Earth. Captain Yejin stepped forward. Earth's policy has always been defensive. We revealed our capabilities only when attacked. We disabled the Zephyrian fleet without killing anyone, despite having the power to destroy them completely. What do you want from us? Asked Sovereign. Thelnara directly Myung-Soo looked around the chamber, making eye contact with representatives from dozens of species. Earth wants recognition as a sovereign world with the right to defend itself. We want an end to invasion plans against our system, and we want honest diplomatic relations based on mutual respect. General Zachmore laughed harshly. And if we refuse your demands? The human ambassador's smile never wavered. Then you refuse. Earth will continue to exist and prosper regardless of your decisions. The difference is whether you do so as our friends or as species we monitor for potential threats. The implications were clear. Humanity no longer needed the approval of galactic civilization to survive. Their dark matter technology made them effectively untouchable. Elder Morden spoke thoughtfully. You have demonstrated superior military technology. What prevents you from simply conquering us as we once planned to conquer you? Because conquest is wasteful, Myung-Soo replied. Earth is interested in scientific discovery, cultural exchange, and mutual prosperity. We gain more from cooperation than from domination. Captain Yejin added, besides, ruling the galaxy would be incredibly boring. We prefer to focus on exploring the universe and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Sovereign Thelnara considered the human position carefully. Her species had survived for millennia by recognizing when the balance of power shifted. This was clearly one of those moments. What would Earth consider acceptable terms for diplomatic relations? She asked. Myung-Soo activated a new holographic display showing proposed treaty terms. Full recognition of Earth's sovereignty over our solar system. Establishment of formal diplomatic channels. Joint scientific research programs for interested species. And most importantly, an end to the galactic practice of conquering primitive worlds. The last point caused immediate protests from several military representatives. You cannot expect us to change thousands of years of expansion policy, objected General Zachmore. We expect nothing, Captain Yejin replied. We are simply informing You that Earth will no longer tolerate unprovoked attacks on developing species. Consider it an expansion of our defensive policy. 1 year after the defeat of the Void Swarm, President Haiwan Kang stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Cooperation Station orbiting Earth. Through the massive transparent walls, she could see ships from dozens of alien species, working alongside human vessels in peaceful cooperation. The galaxy had changed completely since humanity demonstrated their power against the swarm. Instead of fear and conquest, the dominant themes of galactic civilization had become cooperation and discovery. President Kang, the morning briefings are ready, announced Min Ho-jung, her chief advisor and head of the Dark Matter Technology Exchange Program. We have 17 new species requesting to join the cooperation treaties. Haiwan smiled as she reviewed the daily reports. Every week brought new applications from alien civilizations wanting to abandon their old ways of conquest and expansion. The promise of learning dark matter technology was too attractive to ignore. What about the Zephyrian Empire? She asked. Admiral Kethvar has personally requested to participate in our joint exploration program. He says the defeat of his fleet was the best thing that ever happened to his species. The transformation of the Zephyrians had been the most dramatic of all. After experiencing the futility of violence against dark matter technology, they had completely restructured their society. Instead of conquest, they now focused on art, philosophy, and scientific discovery. Minho activated a holographic display showing the current status of joint human-alien projects. The crystalline hegemony has made breakthrough discoveries about dark matter crystallization. The Avian Confederacy has developed new navigation techniques using dark matter currents. Even the Reptilian Alliance has abandoned their military expansion programs. President Kang walked to her office where she found an unexpected visitor waiting for her. Elder Zarthon, one of the oldest beings in the galaxy, stood examining human artwork with great interest. Elder Zarthon, she said respectfully, this is an honor. What brings you to Earth? The ancient alien turned slowly, his movements careful with age. President Kang, I have come to make a request that I never thought I would make in my lifetime. Please tell me what I can do for you. I want to become your student. Haiwan blinked in surprise. Elder Zarthon's species had existed for millions of years. They were considered the wisest beings in the galaxy, teachers to countless other civilizations. Elder, surely you jest. What could humans possibly teach someone of your experience? Zarthon gestured toward the holographic display showing dark matter research data. You have shown us that everything we thought we knew about the universe was incomplete. For millions of years, my species believed we had reached the pinnacle of knowledge. You have proven that we were barely seeing 4% of reality. The old being moved closer to the window, looking out at the cooperative fleet operations in Earth orbit. More than that, you have shown us something even more valuable than technology. You have demonstrated that strength does not require conquest, that power can be used to protect rather than dominate. President Kang felt the weight of responsibility that came with humanity's new role in the galaxy. Elder, we are honored by your request. Our scientists would be delighted to share everything we have learned. There is more, Zarthon continued. I speak for the ancient collective when I propose a fundamental restructuring of galactic civilization. We believe humanity should lead the new Galactic Cooperation Council. The suggestion stunned President Kang. Elder, humans have been part of galactic society for barely 2 years. Surely more experienced species would be better suited for leadership. Experience in the old ways is exactly what we wish to move beyond, Zarthon replied. Humanity offers something new, vision unclouded by millions of years of conquest and domination. Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, Admiral Bo Young Seo commanded the new joint exploration fleet. Her ships included vessels from 12 different species, all equipped with hybrid technology that combined alien engineering with human dark matter systems. Admiral, we are receiving interesting signals from the Andromeda Galaxy, reported her science officer, a young human named Tae-ho Kim. The patterns suggest intelligent origin, but using communication methods we have never encountered before, Bo Young. studied the data with fascination. Prepare a joint expedition. Include representatives from all participating species. If we are about to make first contact with extragalactic civilizations, we should do it together. The exploration fleet departed Earth orbit, carrying the hopes and dreams of species that had once been bitter enemies. Human dark matter technology allowed them to travel vast distances safely, while alien scientific knowledge helped them understand what they discovered along the way. Back on the hidden station in the Kuiper Belt, Admiral Hyun Woo Park watched the new developments with satisfaction. Though he had retired from active command, he remained as an advisor to the younger generation of human leaders. "Admiral, do you ever regret keeping our capabilities secret for so long?" asked Captain Tae-Jin Lee, who now served as commander of the training academy for joint human-alien crews. Hyun-woo considered the question carefully. "No regrets, Captain. If we had revealed ourselves too early, the galaxy might have united against us out of fear. By waiting until we were attacked, we showed that our power was defensive, not aggressive. And now? Now we have the opportunity to guide galactic civilization toward something better than endless conquest and expansion." Through the Academy's windows, they could see young pilots from dozens of species learning to operate dark matter fighters. Human instructors worked alongside alien teachers, sharing knowledge that would have been unthinkable just years before. "The most remarkable thing," Tae-Jin observed, "is how quickly everyone adapted once they realized conquest was obsolete." Hyun-woo nodded. "Fear of superior force has always been a powerful motivator for peace. But what we have achieved goes beyond mere deterrence. We have offered these species something better than domination. We have offered them discovery." The joint exploration fleets were already making unprecedented discoveries. Dark matter technology allowed them to explore dimensions of space that had been completely inaccessible before. They found evidence of ancient civilizations, new forms of life, and physical phenomena that challenged their understanding of reality itself. Dr. Soo-Bin Lee, now director of the Multidimensional Research Institute, published papers that revolutionized galactic science. Her work on dark matter consciousness fields opened entirely new branches of physics and philosophy. "We are discovering that consciousness itself might be a fundamental force of the universe," she explained to a gathering of the galaxy's greatest minds. "Dark matter appears to respond to intelligent thought in ways we are only beginning to understand." The implications were staggering. If consciousness could influence dark matter, and dark matter made up most of the universe, then intelligent life might play a far more important role in cosmic evolution than anyone had imagined. President Kang convened the first session of the new Galactic Cooperation Council in Earth orbit. Representatives from over 300 species attended, all committed to the principles of peaceful exploration and mutual assistance. "Fellow beings," she addressed the assembly, "we stand at the beginning of a new age. For the first time in galactic history, our civilizations are united not by conquest or fear, but by curiosity and hope." The Council's first act was to establish the Galactic Protection Accord, which committed all member species to defend developing civilizations from unprovoked attack. No longer would primitive worlds live in fear of conquest by more advanced species. The second act established the Universal Research Cooperative, pooling scientific knowledge from hundreds of civilizations to tackle the greatest mysteries of existence. Elder Zarthon, now Earth's first alien student, spoke for many when he addressed the assembly. "Humanity has taught us that true strength comes not from the power to destroy, but from the wisdom to protect and the courage to explore." As the months passed, the new galactic civilization flourished. Trade routes opened between species that had never interacted peacefully before. Scientific discoveries accelerated as different approaches to knowledge combined in unexpected ways. The dark matter battleships that had once terrified the galaxy now served as exploration vessels, carrying mixed crews of humans and aliens to the furthest reaches of known space and beyond. Captain Jin Ho-yoon, now commanding the exploration vessel Infinite Horizon, stood on his bridge surrounded by crew members from 8 different species. Navigation: set course for the Magellanic Clouds. Science has detected unusual dark matter formations that warrant investigation. His navigator, A crystalline hegemony. Officer named Velandra acknowledged the order with crystalline chimes that her translation device converted to standard galactic. Course laid in, Captain. Estimated arrival time is 6 days using dark matter currents. As the joint fleet departed known space, Jinho reflected on how much had changed since that first terrifying battle against the Zephyrians. Humanity had set out to defend their home world and ended up transforming an entire galaxy. Behind them, Earth continued to serve as the center of galactic cooperation. 3 months after the diplomatic meetings at the Galactic Council, Archon Vexithul stood in his private war room staring at holographic star charts. The military commander had spent weeks developing a plan that would solve the human problem, once and for all. "You are certain this will work?" he asked his chief strategist. Commander Thaindok nodded confidently. "The Void Swarm has been dormant in the Dark Nebula for 50 years. Our xenoarchaeologists believe we can wake them and direct their hunger toward the human system." Vexthul studied the tactical projections. The Void Swarm was the galaxy's most feared enemy. The hive mind species had consumed entire sectors before mysteriously disappearing into deep space decades ago. No conventional weapon had ever been effective against them. "The humans will be forced to reveal their full military capabilities against the swarm," Thaindok continued. "Either they destroy each other, or we learn everything about human technology by observing the battle. And if the humans survive, then we will know exactly how their dark matter weapons function. Our scientists can use that information to develop countermeasures." Vexthul made his decision. "Proceed with Operation Void Wake. Deploy our awakening probes to the Dark Nebula immediately." What the Galactic Military Council did not realize was that human intelligence had been monitoring their communications from the beginning. On the hidden station in the Kuiper Belt, Nari Choi reviewed the intercepted messages with growing alarm. "Admiral Park, we have a serious problem," she reported to Fleet Admiral Seokjin Kwan, who had replaced Hyunwoo Park as overall commander. "The Galactic Military Council is planning to awaken the Void Swarm and direct them toward Earth." Seokjin studied the intelligence reports grimly. He had read classified files about the Void Swarm's previous attacks. Entire star systems had been stripped bare, their populations consumed, their planets reduced to empty rocks. "How long before the swarm reaches our system?" "If the aliens succeed in waking them, approximately 6 weeks. The swarm moves slowly, but they're virtually unstoppable once they start feeding." Seokjin activated his command console and contacted all human battleship captains. "Emergency briefing in 1 hour. Classification level maximum. We face a threat unlike anything we have encountered before." The briefing room filled with humanity's best military commanders. Captain Jin Ho Yoon sat beside Commander Daehyun Shin, both veterans of the battle against the Zephyrians. Dozens of other officers who commanded the Dark Matter Fleet attended in person or through quantum communication. "The Galactic Military Council has decided to test our capabilities by unleashing the Void Swarm," Seokjin began without preamble. "This is not a natural attack. This is a deliberately created crisis designed to force us to reveal our military secrets." The room filled with angry muttering. The idea that supposedly civilized species would unleash galaxy-destroying monsters, for political reasons, shocked even experienced military officers. Captain Jin Ho raised his hand. "Admiral, what do we know about Void Swarm capabilities?" "Everything and nothing," Seokjin replied. "They are a hive mind species that feeds on both matter and energy. They can survive in the vacuum of space indefinitely. Their ships are actually living creatures that can reproduce themselves using consumed materials." Commander Daehyun looked concerned. "Are they vulnerable to dark matter weapons?" "Unknown. No one has ever tested unconventional weapons against them because no one else has unconventional weapons." Dr. Subin Lee, the fleet's chief quantum engineer, stood up from her seat. "Admiral, I need access to all available data about the Void Swarm. If we're going to fight them, I need to understand their fundamental nature." "Granted. Priority authorization for all classified files." Over the following days, Subin worked tirelessly analyzing every piece of information about the Void Swarm. She studied battle recordings, survivor testimonies, and scientific observations from previous encounters. "I think I found something," she announced during an emergency meeting. "The Void Swarm doesn't just exist in normal space. Analysis of their attack patterns suggests they also have some kind of presence in dark matter dimensions." Seokjin leaned forward with interest. "What kind of presence?" "Their hive mind connection appears to function through dark matter quantum entanglement. That's how they coordinate attacks across vast distances instantly. But it also means they might be vulnerable to dark matter disruption." Captain Jinho asked the crucial question, "Can we cut their hive mind connection?" "Theoretically, yes. If we can generate a large enough dark matter interference field, we might be able to isolate individual swarm units from the collective consciousness." Meanwhile, in the dark nebula, alien probes reached the sleeping Void Swarm. The ancient hive mind stirred as artificial signals penetrated their dormant state. Hunger, the driving force of their existence, began to awaken. The overmind, the collective consciousness that controlled billions of void creatures, slowly became aware of its surroundings. It had been dreaming of vast feasts, of worlds consumed, of the sweet taste of fear from dying civilizations. The artificial signals carried information about a small blue world populated by creatures called humans. The data suggested easy prey, abundant resources, and minimal defenses. The overmind felt its hunger grow stronger. Across the dark nebula, massive biological ships began to stir. Void creatures that had been dormant for decades opened their feeding apertures and tested their weapon systems. The largest bioships were the size of small moons, capable of processing entire planets into new swarm members. Within a week, the Void Swarm was fully awakened and moving toward human space. Long-range sensors throughout the galaxy detected the approaching threat. On hundreds of worlds, populations began to evacuate as the nightmare that had terrorized previous generations returned to active status. "All human vessels, this is Admiral Kwan," Seokjin broadcast to the Dark Matter Fleet. "The Void Swarm has entered our outer sensor range. Estimated time to Earth orbit is 48 hours. Captain Jinho prepared his crew for the most dangerous battle in human history. All hands battle stations. We are about to face an enemy that has destroyed entire civilizations, but we have advantages no previous opponent of the swarm ever possessed." The human fleet took positions throughout the solar system. Unlike their previous battle against the Zephyrians, they could not rely on surprise alone. The Void Swarm would detect their dark matter signatures eventually. Fighter pilot Jae-min Park checked his small but advanced ship for the 100th time. His vessel was experimental, capable of rapid phase transitions between normal space and dark matter dimensions. Flight control, all systems green, ready for interdimensional combat. As the Void Swarm entered the outer solar system, their appearance shocked even experienced human military officers. The bioships looked like nightmares made real. Writhing tentacles hundreds of kilometers long reached out from central feeding bodies. Smaller creatures swarmed around the larger ones like insects around rotting meat. "All ships maintain dark matter phase until I give the attack order," Seokjin commanded. "Let them commit their full force before we reveal ourselves." The swarm moved toward Earth with terrible purpose. The overmind tasted the fear of human populations and felt satisfaction. This would be another easy feast. But as the void creatures closed in on Earth, they began to sense something strange. Reality itself seemed different in this system. The dark matter that connected their hive mind felt disturbed, almost noisy. "Now," Seokjin ordered. 47 human battleships decloaked simultaneously around the Void Swarm, but instead of the normal revelation that had shocked the Zephyrians, the human ships appeared to flicker between dimensions, existing in multiple layers of reality at once. The Overmind felt confusion for the first time in millennia. These creatures were using the same dimensional spaces that supported the swarm's collective consciousness. "Fire dark matter disruption fields," Jinho commanded from the Phantom Strike. Every human ship released specially tuned dark matter energy designed to interfere with quantum entanglement. The effect on the Void Swarm was immediate and devastating. Individual, Swarm creatures suddenly found themselves cut off from the collective mind. Bioships that had moved with perfect coordination for thousands of years began to drift aimlessly. The smaller creatures panicked, unable to hear the guiding voice of the Overmind. "It's working," Subin reported excitedly. "The disruption field is breaking their hive mind connections." But the victory was temporary. The Overmind began adapting to the human attack, finding new frequency ranges for its control signals. "Admiral, they're adapting faster than expected," warned Commander Dae-hyun from his position near Neptune. "Some units are regaining connection to the collective." Seok-jin made a command decision that would change galactic history. "All ships, transition to full dark matter combat mode. We're taking this fight into their dimension." The human fleet disappeared from normal space entirely, existing purely in dark matter dimensions. From there they could attack the quantum foundations of the Void Swarm's consciousness itself. The battle that followed was unlike anything ever witnessed in the galaxy. Human ships fought creatures of living nightmare in the spaces between atoms, in the dark dimensions that most species never even knew existed.